Hello and good afternoon. How are you doing today, Donnie?
Hey, good, Arrow. How are you doing, buddy?
Absolutely fantastic.
Nice.
Whereabouts are you in this country?
I am about an hour north of Tampa, Florida, in a town called Stone Hill.
Man, you've got great rock soil where you are.
Oh, yeah. You know who's right in my neighborhood? Like almost right around the corner from me. Remember John Oliva from Sabotage?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, he goes to the same music store I do right in the neighborhood here.
What is that like for you to go into these music stores at this part of the game? Because, I mean, as kids, we went in there as dreamers, but now that you have lived the lifestyle, are you still dreaming?
Yes and no. I think certain musicians for me are naturally like more of the that celebrity, like, whoa, stars in your eyes, that type thing. And others, it's like, okay, it's cool, I met him, he's a nice person. So I think for me, the dream would be to meet John Petrucci from Dream Theater. That dude is amazing.
That still makes it more fun, doesn't it?
Oh, it sure does. It sure does. I mean, I've met some people along the road here, the short time I've been doing this. But yeah, I mean, I've met, have you ever heard of the Midnight Devils?
No, not yet.
Yeah, they're out of Nebraska. They toured with Enough's Enough and Pretty Boy Floyd. They're an up-and-comer. They're on the same label as I just partnered with. And I got to meet them. They're really, really – and I met them at an Yngwie Malmsteen concert. They opened for Yngwie Malmsteen. And this is like 2 years ago. And I became friends with them. I became friends with the guitarist and the singer. They're like really cool guys, pretty crazy sometimes, but yeah, so I met them, and through them I met Chip Z'Nuff from that band Enough's Enough, and and I met some people through the short time. So it's like, it's really cool to be part of that,
Well, music has become that community again. It's like after the lockdown, it's like everybody started, vibing together and really bringing, their creativity to the same level and sharing great ideas. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, exactly. As a matter of fact, like me, I write my own music, and for now, it's just me. And I finally picked up a drummer. I'm trying to get another guitarist because I like to play my music. I got 2 albums out, and I'd like to play the stuff live. I mean, I've done one show already, but basically it was done with backing tracks, kind of like guitar-karaoke, if you will.
Exactly.
But it still went over pretty well. The crowd was like really, into it and everything. They loved how I opened the show, because I opened the show on the first album. The bonus track of the last track is the soundtrack. I kind of did my own version to it, to the Terminator.
Oh, wow.
And I opened the show with that. And yeah, so that got a really, really good response. And then of course, I played some of my own music. I played for about maybe 40 minutes or so. And I played like six of my own songs, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'd like to do it more seriously, like go on tour with the band or something like that. So that's my next goal. That, and I'm working on a 3rd album right now. So
Second Gear, that's an album, buddy.
Yeah, Second Gear came out last year in March. About a year ago now.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I've got I got a video for that on I guess it's on YouTube, of course, naturally.
Yeah.
And of course, naturally the song is on pretty much every digital platform in the world you can think of. So it's doing pretty well.
When it comes to Second Gear, was it a play on words? Because the first thing that I got was, now I understand what's happening. He's building the energy, because when you pop it up into 3rd, then go into 4th, you better be at high rate.
Exactly. Now here's my mindset, my way of thinking on this. The first album was called Trial and Error, because it was literally that, a trial and an error. First thing I ever did. It's got some good songs on there. The first song I ever wrote was a tribute to Heather O'Rourke from the Poltergeist movies, because I'm friends with her family.
Oh, wow.
And that song, a buddy of mine, he has a studio here locally called Dream Lab, and he helped me with some of the, he does the other instruments and everything, but he helped me with second guitaring and stuff like that. And then of course, naturally, I recorded that through the pandemic because there was nothing else to do in the world at the time. So then after that came out, I still had like other ideas. Now, the reason why I call the new album Second Gear is for two reasons. Number one, naturally, it's the second album. Or number two, the main reason is because my skills, my guitaring, playing, definitely went up because, you get better as time goes on. So that's why I call Second Gear, because it's a next level. Music is on there a little bit more fast paced, more higher energy, a little bit harder on some of the songs. And I also have an acoustic song on there, which, believe it or not,
really?
I'm not sure how many months ago this was. A couple months ago, was #1 in Japan on their charts.
Nice. The video itself is nothing but fuel. It's fuel on fire. I mean, it's just go, 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 go.
Exactly. That's kind of how I was picturing it in my mind.
To put it together, I mean, when you're talking about that you were, during the lockdown, that you were, in that studio by yourself. I mean, who put the video together, and where did the basically the beauty of it all fall into place?
You're gonna laugh. You're not gonna believe this, but the video I did right here at my house.
Of course. My God.
I mean, I used clips I found on the internet that is pretty much open without unlicensed, that you don't need a license to get it.
Yeah.
And then I made the video on a website called Rotor, which is owned by CD Baby, because that's who I released the album through.
Yeah.
And they do things where you can set up videos. Now, my next video, I'm hoping if I can get somebody to record, I want to be actually in it where I'm physically playing. And then, of course, throw some clips in there and stuff, kind of make it really cool. So that's my next project, probably here in the next month or two, is doing another video from another song on that album. Man,
you need to get in touch with James Cameron from Avatar and say, dude, you're spending too much money making your movies. Yeah, I'll show you a better way.
I'll show you do it. You can do it for $30.
Now, finding you on the web, I mean, how do you convince that listener on how to lay out, the name and everything else that's part of the name?
Okay, well, if you want to find my main page that I have, which has links to pretty much everything, you're going to go to, of course, HTTP, because everything starts with that. But it's D with a dash next to that, and then an O, and then dash next to that, and then an N, dot here now, and it's spelled HEARNOW, and.com. So herenow.com. And then on there, you'll find links to my Spotify page, which actually went from 5 to almost 14,000 in a week. Well,
of course. I'm not shocked.
Yeah. And then, and I'm on another internet called Django, and actually released a song that's going to be on the next album, and it's only available on Django. And I have my own little station on Django, so D-O-N.
How is it feeling that when there are people that are saying, this could be the next Joe Satriani or David Gilmour?
That's exactly what people are saying when they hear me. They say, yes. I hear Joe Satriani, I hear David Gilmour. You got that style, you got that, and to be honest with you, Joe Satriani is naturally one of my biggest influences. I love his music. I think I own almost every one of his albums, including the live ones. And I listen to him. I've seen him in concert probably about 8 times already. This dude, I really, really love his style and what he does. Now, me, I'm not a shredder. I'm not one of those guys like Yngwie Malmsteen that plays 150,000 miles an hour. I'm not one of those guys. I don't want to be that guy, because there's so many people out there that do that. Gus G does that. But they all do that. And it's like, I want to be more creative. I want to do something I want to be that guy outside of the box, not in the box.
Yeah. A couple of weeks ago on Howard Stern, they were talking about the greatest guitarists of all time, and one of the members of the show brought up Joe Satriani, and they all agreed. And I want to know what your feeling is, Donnie, because I mean you play the instrumental music. They all said no, he's not one of the greatest because he doesn't write songs. He doesn't know how to write a song, and it's like, what are you talking about? So I wonder, because you don't have vocals in your music, Donnie, would you fall in the same thing where people would say, no, he doesn't write songs, he plays the guitar?
I laugh at those people because they really don't know what they're talking. First of all, Joe Satriani does write his own music.
Yes.
He writes, he's doing the same thing I'm doing. He's probably sitting, when he's not on tour, he's sitting in his living room coming up with ideas. And then writing those ideas down, and he'll, just like every song has a rhythm, so you get those. And a lot of the, the 80s bands, whatever, they say, well, they're the 4-chord bands. I want to be more like the 6 to 8 chord, I like I don't want to be just, because then the music gets boring.
Yeah.
So I want to be like that, like the Dream Theater, that prog stuff where it's like it's going in one direction, then all of a sudden, bam, it switches gears, and it goes off on this tangent. You're like, what the hell was that? So I want to be on that level, or at least going in that direction. So I want to play my music like the song Second Gear. It starts out with an intro. The song totally changes chords and changes rhythm. Then it gets back in, and then about 3/4 of the way through, it gets into this mellow, chill kind of clean. Yeah. With the bass line playing behind it, and then it comes back in hard with all these hammer-ons and pull-offs and everything that I used. And then it gets into it pretty, then it goes high speed, if you will, like you said, high octane, full throttle, balls to the wall, whatever you want to call it, And so that's what I want to do. So those people that say, oh, he doesn't write his own music. Well, I'll tell you straight out, I am the sole writer of everything I do.
Yeah, put that pride in there.
Oh, I am. Oh, yeah. I mean, I've got 18 songs that except for the Terminator. But Brad Fiedel was really cool. He's the one that did the Terminator theme originally. He only charged me $50 for the license.
Are you kidding? Oh, my God. I got to tell you something about Joe Satriani, because I've been with him a couple of times, and so I'm going to ask you the same question. And the question was that what is your weakness? And he openly admitted that anything Star Wars turns him into a little kid again, and that's the reason why he records over there at the Skywalker Ranch, is because he's really into that. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, me, I'm a Star Trek guy.
Are you really? I see.
I love Star Trek. Man, I've got Paramount Plus, and I've been watching Picard, the final season. Dude, man, I love Star Trek. I've got a couple Star Trek models floating around my house. I've got, I've even got, I geeked out one time, and I even bought one of the shirts that for the crew. So that's hanging in my closet, so yeah, I'm a Star Trek geek, if you want to call it that. I'm also a big roller coaster buff. So.
Oh, really? Oh, you got to come to Charlotte then, to Carowin, so that you can take on that big 125-foot drop.
Yeah, I've been on Fury 325.
You have?
I was up about 2 years ago. Yeah, I mean, I go to Cedar Point a lot in Ohio, and I go out to California a lot. I go to Magic Mountain out there. But actually, my next trip will be the end of next month, and we're going to Dollywood. So, I need to get back to you.
I would challenge you to write some music while you're, just take a half an hour, 45 minutes, and see what you feel while you're in Dollywood, because I'm sure that area is just full of energy.
Yeah, I'm not a huge country fan, but it's funny. Some of the inspiration that I get is not from rock music. Ooh. I mean, some of it is, don't get me wrong. I mean, if you listen to Momentum, you'll hear it, which is the first song on the Second Gear. If you listen to that song, you're going to get a Whitesnake feel, because it almost sounds like Crying in the Rain. And in all reality, there's a couple chords that are very similar. It's just dropped down to a different key than what Crying in the Rain was. But I mean, but a lot of the songs that I do, I mean, I get inspiration pretty much from everywhere. I've gotten inspirations from some Christian music.
Yeah.
I've gotten inspiration from just, you name it. But I think that's why I like to be creative. I could take something that would be like totally out of the box, out of the genre, and bring it back. Like, who would have thought, okay, here's the Terminator soundtrack in a heavy metal or hard rock version. And like I said, it goes over pretty well. So
wow. See, I can't wait till you can put that tour together and get out here on the road, because I would love to see you up here at the NC Music Factory here in Charlotte. Just playing it live, just to watch you. Because when I would see Eddie Van Halen, there was nobody else in the band. I sat there and watched that man's fingers the entire time.
Yeah, that was an amazing. He was an amazing guitarist.
Yeah,
he came from like nothing. I don't know if you know his backstory.
Sure do.
He pretty much came from the slums, if you will, and became what he is. I mean, he learned how to play guitar. His brother played drums, and it didn't even start that way. I think Eddie was originally on drums, and Alex was on guitar, and they both sucked at it. So then they switched, and look what they became. I mean, amazing.
Wow. Well, you've got to come back to this show anytime in the future, Donnie, because I want to follow your story, and I want to help push your story out there.
Yeah, definitely, man. Just let me know when. Yeah, I'll be on anytime, man. No problem.
Excellent, dude. Will you be brilliant today, okay?
All right. You do the same, Eddie. I appreciate you.